seminar. There will be a networking session with refreshments at the foyer, which is just outside this auditorium. We hope you will join us. 水素とアモニア、日印に協力に関するセミナーにご参加いただきありがとうございます。イベント開始前にお願いがございます。セミナー中は携帯電話の電源を切りいただくか、マナーモードに設定していただきますようお願い申し上げます。イベントの終了後、このコードのすぐ外にあるフォアで軽食とネットワーキングセッションが開催されます。ぜひご参加くださいませ。ご協力ありがとうございます。まもなくイベントを開始いたします。May I first invite Mr. R. Madhusudan, Charge d'Affaires, Embassy of India, Tokyo, to give the opening remarks. R. Madhusudan、臨時代理大使へのイベントの開会のご挨拶いただきます。お願いいたします。
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Tomohiko Adachi, Director, Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Strategy Office, Agency for Natural Resources and Energy, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan. Mr. Prasad Chapekar, Deputy Secretary in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy of India. Professor Michio Hashimoto, Initiatives for Global Security and Energy Transition, Research Center for Advanced Science and Technology, University of Tokyo. Mr. Ajay Singh, Managing Executive Officer, Mitsui OSK Lines. Representatives from Indian and Japanese industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to welcome everyone to today's seminar on hydrogen and ammonia, India-Japan cooperation. The event today will focus on discussing and exploring the potential for collaborative efforts between our two countries relating to these important energy resources. As we well know, the relationship between India and Japan has transcended government-to-government interactions, and today it covers diverse areas of partnership, including trade and investment, industrial development, infrastructure, railways, human resources, critical and emerging technologies, health, space, semiconductors, defense, and security. There's a growing collaboration between our two countries in the energy sector. The India-Japan Clean Energy Partnership, launched in 2022, aims to enhance our cooperation across a broad spectrum of areas, particularly focusing on the development of clean and green hydrogen and ammonia technologies. Friends, India is second to none when it comes to climate action. We have committed to attaining net zero emissions by 2070 and decreasing the carbon intensity of our economy by 45% by 2030 compared to 2005 levels. We are moving fast towards achieving these goals. We have achieved the target of 40% energy capacity from non-fossil sources well before time. We have the world's first fully solar-powered airport, and our railway system will become net zero in this decade. Green hydrogen has emerged as a key element in India's energy transition. Recognizing its vast potential, India has launched the National Green Hydrogen Mission, which aims to position India as a global hub for the production, utilization, and export of green hydrogen and its derivatives. India's cost of producing green hydrogen and green ammonia is among the most competitive globally. We are already on the way to become one of the largest manufacturers of these critical green fuels in the world. Japan has also committed to achieving net zero emissions by 2050. Through initiatives like the Green Growth Strategy, Basic Hydrogen Strategy, and the Green Innovation Fund, Japan is championing green transformation. These efforts support the utilization of hydrogen and ammonia fuels and the development of their supply chains, underscoring Japan's commitment to sustainable energy solutions. It is clear that climate change is a global issue. Addressing climate change and shift to green hydrogen cannot be achieved by any one country alone. Through our clean energy partnership, leveraging Japan's technological expertise and India's vast renewable resources, we have a unique opportunity to enhance our cooperation in the renewable energy sector. Our ongoing collaborations in the field of green hydrogen and green ammonia involve agreements to export green ammonia from India to Japan, joint development of green ammonia production facilities, and working together on ammonia co-firing technology. These efforts will be important for supporting the energy transition goals of both our countries and reducing carbon emissions and enhancing energy security. According to estimates, India's renewable energy deployment plans for the next decade are likely to generate business prospects of the order of around 20 billion US dollars per year. This is a tremendous opportunity to invest in projects, manufacturing and new technologies like battery storage and green hydrogen. We welcome investors, developers and businesses to be part of our renewable energy journey. Let me stop here. I once again welcome and thank you all for joining us today. I look forward to engaging discussions at the seminar, which I hope you will find useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now invite Mr. Tomohiko Adachi, Director, Hydrogen and Fuel Cells Strategy Office, Agency for Natural Resources and Energy, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan, to give the presentation. まずは経済産業省資源エネルギー庁水素燃料電池戦略室長の足立智彦様よりご声のいただきます。テーマは日本の再建の水素アンモニア政策の動向です。お願いいたします。
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tomo Adachi, Director of Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Strategy Office of METI. I'm very honored to be able to present Japan's recent hydrogen policy updates. So the distinguished guests and Mr. Majisudan and everyone involved, I hope this seminar will be fruitful today. Next page, please. I had a chance to visit Delhi in March to attend IPHE steering committee meeting with my colleagues. So there I got a chance to get acquainted with the friends and colleagues in India and the delegates from all over the world in the hydrogen community. And we very much enjoyed and thanked the hospitality extended to us by the Indian host. So on behalf of the Japan delegates and others, I just thank you for the Indian hosts there. Anyway, I will give you a highlights of the Japan's hydrogen policy. As some of you may know, Japan is the first country to have published the National Hydrogen Strategy back in 2017. In fact, Japan's R&Ds on hydrogen and renewables dates back to the 1970s when the first oil shock occurred. So our predecessors anticipated the situation we are facing today, where we need to tackle energy crisis and the environmental issues. So we are proud that Japan has a long history of R&Ds in the technologies in the fuel cells and other hydrogen technologies, but we do appreciate the visionarity that our predecessors had. Anyway, our hydrogen strategy policy has received quite a big backing from the government, most notably by the then Prime Minister's 2050 carbon neutrality declaration in 2020. The then Prime Minister was Mr. Suga, and with his initiatives, government created a $15 billion green innovation Innovation Fund. And then we assisted the various hydrogen and ammonia R&Ds and demonstration projects there. Since last year, we've been initiating the new policy called GX, Green Transformation Policy, under which we aim to transform our Japanese old fossil-based industry structure to a cleaner, greener industry structure. And hydrogen and ammonia will play a key role in achieving that policy. This year is a very important year because we have enacted the first Hydrogen Society Promotion Act, which I'll explain a bit more in a minute. But in any case, we have under the National Hydrogen Strategy, we have the volume targets and a cost targets towards 2050. At the moment in Japan, we have about 2 million tons of hydrogen in the market, mostly or very much in gray hydrogen. We aim to increase the volume to 3 million tons towards 2030, 12 million tons towards 2040, and 20 million tons towards 2050. And cost is, of course, an issue, so we have to aim to reduce the cost by third or by fifth towards 2030 and 2050, so that the cost of hydrogen can compete with the existing fossil fuels. Next slide, please. Hydrogen is quite an innovative way and a new energy, so we would need to invest and tackle very much all aspects of supply chain, from production through transport and utilization. So mainly by the Green Innovation Fund, we'll be assisting with various demonstration projects and R&Ds in Japan and abroad. For example, in the production, we have production sites, demonstration sites in Yamanashi and Fukushima, around 10 megawatts, still one of the largest actually in operation. We see lots of announced giga project, megawatt project, but when it comes to projects actually in operation, these remain still one of the largest. So by those experiments, we are gaining the operational experience and lessons learned, let's try and error. Transportation is a challenge for hydrogen, so we are assisting the various ways to carry. For example, the liquefied hydrogen. Another is LOHC, liquid organic hydrogen carrier called MCH, methylcyclohexane, and ammonia as well. This is to enable the large-scale maritime transportation. Of course, we will develop and assist the domestic hydrogen production, but as you may know, our renewable excess capacity is still limited to Japan, so we would need to import a volume of hydrogen in the future. As to utilization, I'm sure you've seen FCBs or FC buses running in Tokyo and other major cities, so they are already in the market. But we want to increase these utilization areas from the mobility areas to the industry area, including the power sector, steel, and chemical sector. Next page, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this diagram explains the gist of the new Hydrogen Society Promotion Act. By this act, the government is empowered to introduce and implement the various support schemes to introduce hydrogen to Japan. One is the support focusing on the price gap, and the other is hubs development support scheme. So funding is to come from the Japan Climate Transition Bonds. So we worked hard to get as much budget as possible. At the moment, we have been allocated the size of 3 trillion yen for the 15-year. So within the budgetary constraints, we will ask the businesses to come up with a lovely idea to introduce low carbon hydrogen towards 2030. And if the projects are convincing and competitive and self-sustainable in the future, so the METI is to approve the project and then provide support for long term. This will be a CapEx and OpEx support. Otherwise, the projects are not yet self-supported yet. But I believe we would need confidence in developing hydrogen/ammonia supply chain, because the expectation is high, but still doubts are around. So we want to install at least a pilot projects to demonstrate the world that, well, this is actually doable. Next page, please. Having said that, international cooperation is absolutely the key, because hydrogen society cannot be achieved by Japan alone. So we take the various opportunities, various fora to increase the friends in the hydrogen area. So as I mentioned, the IPAHE is one of the major initiatives, but also the bilateral cooperation, G20, Quad, and to name a few. So the cooperation with India is as important as ever. So also we need specific projects to implement. So nothing's written yet. We are not saying that we'll be supporting these projects, but there are various feasibility studies and MOUs between the Japanese companies and Indian companies, or the companies trying to do business in India. So early this month, there was an IPEF meeting in Singapore. So our Minister Saito witnessed the execution of the term sheet between the Semcorp and Sojitz, who are going to develop green ammonia projects in India. So, by these activities, we are sending strong signal that the hydrogen and ammonia projects are actually coming. Next page, please. Also, I give you a couple of examples that we have been assisting the projects or feasibility studies in India. One is a multi-Suzuki's project in India. This is still a feasibility study, but the idea is to decarbonize the automotive factory in India by using what we call the P2G technology, power to gas technology. So we produce the hydrogen from the solar renewable-based electricity. The other project is a feasibility study conducted by IHI, KOA, and Adani to install to develop ammonia co-firing, ammonia combustion power plants in India. We are aware that still a large number of coal power stations are in operation, and it's not realistic to shut down everything, because energy situation differs by country to country. So we have the one goal of carbon neutral by, in Japanese case, 2050, in Indian case, 2070. But we believe there are various pathways to get there. So in the meantime, we will take realistic and transition ways to get there. And so there we will deploy various technologies to achieve that. So to sum up, we know that India has a large potential to produce green energy, green hydrogen, green ammonia, and Japan is, I believe, able to contribute to the decarbonization of India. Also, India's potential or ambition to become a new energy exporter in the future. Okay, that's a short presentation, but I very much thank you for listening, and I do appreciate this opportunity to speak at this embassy today. Thank you.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much, sir. May I now invite Mr. Prasad Arvind Chafekar, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, to give the presentation. Indo Sei Fushin Sai Sei Kano Energy Cho Fukuchokan Prasad Arvind Chafekar Yori Gokoe no itadakimasu.
Am I audible? Is the screen visible to everyone? Yes. Yes. Is it now full screen? Yes. Thank you. I am Prasad Chafekar. I am working in the hydrogen division of Minari since about a year and a half. It's indices given by India towards our climate goals. Sorry. So we have a target of 500 gigawatt of non-fossil capacity by the end of this decade, and more than 50% of the energy through RE sources again by end of this decade, and this is expected to achieve the emission intensity reduction by almost 45% as compared to the 5 levels. As RE is a key player, key component. So this is a rough outline of India's energy consumption as of now. Electricity is around just over 20% of our energy consumption, and out of that energy, we have around 43%, which is coming from RE, and others from thermal and nuclear. This proportion is going up very rapidly. The way we look forward to hydrogen is both from domestic perspective and for export. This is where you electrify, you do that. Where it's not possible to electrify, to find other means like hydrogen. These are the sectors in which India sees use of hydrogen in our own country as well. These refineries, fertilizers, steel, chemicals, transportation, and includes the road, shipping, as well as aviation. And keeping these aspects in mind, and also the export potential, the mission was launched in the January of last year with an outlay of almost $2.4 billion. These are the mission targets which we have. We wish to have 5 million tons of production capacity per annum by the end of this decade. That we estimate would require around 60 gigawatts of electricity capacity, would require 125 gigawatts of additional RE generation, and with these targets, we hope to achieve savings in import as well as reduce emissions and attract investment in this new sector in India. This is the rough outlay, as I mentioned, $2.4 billion. This program is a site incentives for green hydrogen transition. That in that program we have two sub-programs where we give incentives to set up production plants for green hydrogen and electrolyzers in India. We have component for R&D, we have component for pilot projects in the sectors of steel, shipping, transport, and others, and other components like skill development and others, and publicity and so on. This is roughly the skill outlay. I will now represent the progress which I made so far. Under our TLI program, under this mission, we are going to give incentives for setting up 3 gigawatt capacity or annum capacity of electrolyzers in India, out of which we already awarded capacity of 1.5 gigawatt, 800 megawatt, and the remaining, the tranche 2, is currently ongoing. So we'll be giving incentives for 3 gigawatts, total of 5 years. Essentially, it's around 15 gigawatts capacity which will be given incentives in India. This is for electrolyzers and for hydrogen. We have incentives of around 50 rupees per kg capped there, which is roughly equivalent to 60 cents, 60 US cents per kg of hydrogen, and we're giving for a 3-year period. So far, we have given out tenders, or we have awarded incentives for setting up capacities of around 412,000 per annum to 10 companies. For our domestic market, we have currently floated tenders for sourcing around 70,000 tons of green ammonia as plants, and in the coming years, the oil company will be setting up or will be awarding tenders for 200,000 tons of hydrogen, green hydrogen per annum, which will also give a big part of. So we have targets. I mean, although we don't have necessary targets for export, we estimate that a bulk of the initial plants will be export oriented, and we also incentivize their use in Indian industries through this PLI program, as mentioned above, with the given capacity. This is an outline of the other components. The transport sector, we are very close to awarding funding for projects for running green hydrogen buses and trucks in India. We are not only banking on the fuel cell option, we also encourage H2 ICE engines and fuel cells in India. The trials are expected to commence shortly, and based upon the outcome of these trials, then we'll decide as to where to put our next money in these sectors. In the shipping sector, we have a target of retrofitting 2 ships to run on green fuels by the end of around 3 years from now. It's going on track, and in fact, we may finish it a bit earlier. Around the current estimate that we may finish this around 8 to 10 months earlier. This is how it goes depending upon the tender. We also want to create bunkering facilities at ports for storing green fuels. It will be methanol, it will be ammonia. It depends on the industry's. We also have some budget reserved for that, and depending on the demand, we also allocate more budget to these projects. The tender for doing pellet projects in the steel industry are also out. We hope to tenders by the end of July or so. There we plan to do around 3 things. First, a small 100% hydrogen-based plant. We are technology. We also hope to blend hydrogen in existing DRI plant, reduce the natural gas consumption, and we also plan to inject hydrogen in blast furnace to the extent possible, reduce consumption of coal and other fossil fuels. Those plants. The other components, we plan to set up hydrogen hubs. We have notified the scheme guidelines for the same, and they are in the process of finalizing the final contours as to what will the hub entail and how much to support and what to support. Information support that is currently the finalization. We have got a huge response for our R&D budget. We had a budget of around $50 million. For the R&D, and we did a call for proposals for interested entities to submit their projects, and the total funding request we have received is roughly $400 million. So it's roughly 10 times our budget. So we are very happy, and in the future we may increase funding in this sector. This mission is also probably the first mission from a dedicated component for skill development. We have empaneled we have taken on board our Ministry of Skill Development, which is the nodal agency in our country for skill development, and we are also funding them for creating skilled professionals across from small to big job roles. So to brief, this is what we call the hydrogen. We have set a limit of 2 kilograms per kg of hydrogen. Now Japan has a center of around 3.4 kg. So we believe that hydrogen made in India will almost automatically match any standard required by Japan. But we also include the biomass pathways in our standard. We have electrolysis as well as biomass pathways. I believe this suits well with Japan standard, where they are not specified any specific pathway. They are okay with blue and green as well. So we believe that our pathways are and the limit which we have set will also Japan, even counting the transport part. In addition to incentives given by the, the, the government at the center, we also have the state governments, which are autonomous. I mean, they are federal units, and they are also free to do their own incentives. As you can see, many states have already announced their policies, either through policy or a separate policy, and other states are in the process of announcing their own policies. And we have got very enduring support from the states, and these incentives are in addition to what we are giving. So if you club together, the incentives are sizable incentives given by the states and center to make. Now you couple this with the RE potential in India, which I'll be coming to next. And they have taken a host of other measures to reduce the cost of transmission and RE in India for hydrogen projects. Since RE in India is in states like Rajasthan, Gujarat to the west, and there are also ports on the east part of India. India has built an extensive network for transmission. We have almost congestion in the country is almost 0.02% something. And so we have no problem out of India to wherever is required. It's Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Gujarat, it doesn't matter. You can set up your RE plant anywhere in India, and we will give you the facilities to haul that power to wherever your hydrogen plant is located. In fact, our target is 5 million tons by the end of the decade, but the industry has announced plans of around 7.5 plus million tons. But it's a challenge to get the announcements to ground. But currently, there are two big projects that have already broken ground in Odisha. They have begun construction. They have completed their field studies. And as I mentioned, we are awarded tenders of around 400,000 tons of hydrogen in this year, February. And we have given them a time of commissioning of 3 years. It means they have to commission their project by February to. So all these projects are currently doing their field study. They are acquiring land, so on and so forth. So by the end, by the end of 2026, or the build 7, you would see extremely large-scale projects being commissioned in India across east as well as west. Then I'll explain what advantages India has as a country for green hydrogen. We have single unified grid. As I said before, we can transfer almost 1.116 gigawatt of any country to another country. This is probably the single largest synchronized grid in the world. Our RE tariffs are most competitive in the world. As you know, the cost of hydrogen comes from the RE cost. Two-thirds of the cost comes from. For solar power in India, around 2 rupees, which is roughly 2.5 cents, US cents. The wind tariff is almost 3.5 cents. We have ports on east as well as west coast, and we have extremely strong talent for engineering. EPC companies all around the world have their offices in India, as they get a skilled manpower at a very reasonable cost. This was done. So I'll just touch upon the a very important partnership between India and Japan. We are in very advanced stage of negotiation for agreement under Article 6.2. Conclude, then we hope to conclude it soon enough. It will facilitate the flow of investments, finance, and technology from Japan to India, and then the projects, and these projects will be approved under this agreement. Carbon credits can be used by Japanese companies to meet their own NDC. This is a very important area of cooperation on our side, and much work has been done here, and we hope to conclude the agreement soon. This was, I think, mentioned. I will not go into detail. There are many offtake agreements signed between Indians and Japanese companies. These were already mentioned some time back. So I just skipped this slide. Uh, our our targets and Japan's targets are very complementary because Japan wants to look for a reliable partner for sourcing its energy, and India can be that partner. Since we have, as I mentioned, we have the grid and we have the RE capability, and we have the EPC challenge to make the projects happen at scale and almost quicker than any other country in the world. These are just a few points on which we can have cooperation. I believe it's already ongoing in many of these fields, and it will. I hope this interaction will also increase. One thing which is I would emphasize in this is point number 5 and 6, because each country needs to certify that the hydrogen is within the standards of its own country, which will require certification mechanisms. So if we can agree to more, and India and Japan can agree more on the mutual collaboration in this respect of certification mechanisms in both countries, it will be beneficial for both Indians and Japanese companies to increase the ease of doing business in both countries. I also believe that it is required that delegations of government and industry together need to visit each other more often, because unless you visit and you talk to officials in person, it is a different level of confidence. The frequency of the delegations, so that the participants can have first-hand interaction with department as well as industry to gain proper insight into where the industry is going, and to increase the collaboration between two countries. Thank you. This is all from my part. I'll be happy to answer any questions in this regard.
Thank you, sir. I would like to move ahead with the next presentation. May I now invite Professor Michio Hashimoto, Initiatives for Global Security and Energy Transition, Research Center for Advanced Science and Technology, University of Tokyo, to give the presentation. Tokyo Daigaku Sentan, Kagaku Gijutsu Kenkyu Center Chikyu, Anzen Hosho to Energy Tenkan Initiatives no Hashimoto Michio Shiori Goko e no itadakimasu.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. My name is Michio Hashimoto, professor at the University of Tokyo. I'm very much honored to be invited to this very important event. And I've been working for the renewables and also the hydrogen last 15 years, both in the government and also the university. So, and today I would like to speak about the role of hydrogen in Japanese energy system from my perspective. Next slide, please. So first, and we should start talking about the hydrogen. Why hydrogen? And many countries now are highlighting the hydrogen as one of the key solutions to achieve the carbon neutrality in 2050 because of these three reasons. One is well, hydrogen is the clean fuel that is the very essential and energy source and to achieve the carbon neutrality. And the second, and the hydrogen is quite flexible energy carrier that can be produced from the various energy sources and also easy for transport and also the storage that might help the stability of the energy supply. And lastly, hydrogen is the the newest innovation in energy technology. Well, and that is expected to contribute to the energy supply, but also contribute to the economic growth in many countries. European countries, they are seeing that the hydrogen is very key and solution for the decarbonization, particularly for the industry sector. The European countries are trying to expand the renewable energy as much as possible. It will help decarbonization of the electricity sector, but they are not for the industry sector that are sometimes called the hard-to-abate sectors. But if renewable electricity can be transferred to the hydrogen, that can be a fuel for such an industry sector and then push the decarbonization of the hard-to-abate sector. So that is why European countries are pushing hydrogen strategy intensively. And that is true, and there's no doubt, and we have the same view about that, but from the Japanese point of view, we have to have another reason to push hydrogen. So next slide, please. And this graph shows the electricity power generation mixture of Japan, and historically, in very old days, and most of the electric power was generated from fossil fuel. But after the 1973 oil crisis, and the situation has got changed, Japanese power companies made every effort to expand the clean energy, non-fossil energies like nuclear and also renewable. That was, well, I see successful, but the situation once again changed after the Fukushima nuclear accident. And in the absence of the nuclear power, and the share of the fossil fuels went up again, and came to the almost 90% and temporarily. And Japanese government tried to expand the renewable with the best effort, but the changes taking place slowly. That and consequently, still 70% of the Japanese power was generated from the fossil fuel. We have to change this, otherwise we cannot achieve the carbon neutrality. So, hydrogen is important not just for the industry sector, but also the power generation sector. That is the Japanese and another unique reason to push the hydrogen. So next slide, please. So let's take a look at the current situation of the hydrogen. Well, everybody knows that the hydrogen is a clean fuel, but not yet used widely. Because why? Because this is rather expensive, and higher cost will keep the new users away from this very innovative energy, and then which means the limited user. And limited if the user is not yet developed well, and the necessary infrastructure will not be developed. The lack of the infrastructure and the cost still remains high, and then well, that higher price will reduce the users. So I have to say that the hydrogen is still in the very bad cycle, and the struggling in this and the very vicious cycle. And then we have to change this. So, and the trigger to such change will be, next slide please, and maybe reducing the cost. Well, and for this purpose, Japanese government has been conducting the various and the research and development project to develop new technologies to reduce the cost of the hydrogen down. And also, and Adachi-san previously mentioned that recently the Japanese government launched the new scheme to provide the financial support to the price gap, and that will also help the price of the hydrogen to be competitive. And then if the competitive hydrogen price is achieved, maybe we can have some kind of the change. So next slide, please. Well, and the cheaper hydrogen price will bring the more user into this market and then make the hydrogen demand bigger. Bigger hydrogen demand will push the development of the infrastructure. And if the nationwide hydrogen supply infrastructure is developed, perhaps that will help the price of the hydrogen down, then invite more users. Here, bad cycle will be changed to the good cycle. That will be the very basic principle of the Japanese hydrogen policy, and also that will as well and in the US and also many European countries. So, let's take a look at the current situation of hydrogen costs. Next slide, please. And this is the slides and of the result of my research team, and I conducted the estimation of the hydrogen production cost in Australia, and that was done in 3 years ago, and presented to the Quad Hydrogen workshop meeting held in Kyoto, December 2022. And then the left-hand side 3 column is the cost estimation of the green hydrogen, and hydrogen produced by the electrolyzer using wind power in Australia. And the right side, the blue hydrogen produced from the natural gas or lignite coal, and together with the CCS. And you can see the clear trend that the green hydrogen is more expensive than blue hydrogen. That is because the higher cost of the green hydrogen, mostly depending on the higher electricity price. We assumed that the 6 yen per kilowatt hour, that was the average wind power price at that time, and 6 yen and power price, the green hydrogen price will be 39.1, which is quite high level. If we want to put this price down to the very affordable level, and we have to have the 1 yen kilowatt hour and electricity available for hydrogen production. Well, that might be possible, but not immediately. Maybe it might take some time. So, and if we want to launch the hydrogen business today, and we need to have the cheaper hydrogen. We also have to consider that the blue hydrogen can be an option for that. And from the Japanese point of view, and we should be flexible and in the choosing of the clean hydrogen. So, and regarding the Australia, next slide, please. And I would like to introduce the one and a very important demonstration project was completed and recently. And Japanese Research Consortium HYSTRA, they have completed their own project for the global hydrogen supply chain. And that was the very first and large-scale international shipping of liquid hydrogen from Australia to Japan, which was, I think, quite a remarkable achievement of the Japanese hydrogen program. And I think from the two reasons, it's very important because firstly, Australia has the abundant the resources and both and natural gas and also the renewable energies, and perhaps a cheaper hydrogen price can be expected and compared to the producing and in Japan domestically. The second reason is the international trade with a friendly country and will help and enhancing the security of supply. I would like to say that is true not just the Australia, but also in the case of India, that will be also true. So we should consider that is the one of the option to achieve the national energy security goal. So, and in my last slide, I have a little bit touched on the research and development. Next slide, please. Well, and Japan has a long history of the research and development in hydrogen area. And the very first national R&D project was launched 50 years ago, immediately after the 1973 oil crisis. And even in the 1990s, Japan has already launched the national research and development program for the technologies for international trading of the hydrogen. That was so-called World Energy Network and WENET project. That was started from 1993 to 2002. And unfortunately, at that time, such a very beautiful and international trading system was not yet developed, but and at least they could successfully provide it to the very basis of the technology of the fuel cell and also the refueling station and the vehicle and such kind of hydro technology. So, and I understand that was quite a good achievement at that time. And then after 30 years, as I introduced previously, and international and hydrogen trade demonstration was successfully conducted, and also after the 30 years from this WENET, we can finally came to this international trading. So, and maybe we are just in the starting point of the developing international system of the hydrogen trading, and we already have the 30 years experience, and so we should continue this effort towards the coming 30 years. And then we should perhaps want to work together with the friendly countries like India to achieve this international system of the hydrogen trading like this, and both countries to contribute to the realization of the hydrogen society and also the carbon neutrality in the future. Thank you very much for your attention.
At the end, may I now invite Mr. Ajay Singh, Managing Executive Officer, Mitsui O.S.K. Lines, to give the remarks. Saigoni, Shosen Mitsui, Kabushiki Gaisha, Jomo Shikko, Yakuin, Ajay Singh, Shiyori Gokoe no itadakitai to omoimasu. Onegai itashimasu.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ajay Singh. I have lived in Japan for the last 10 years, of which I have worked with Mitsui O.S.K., Shosen Mitsui, for about the last 4 years. Actually, my background is more in the oil and gas industry. I worked for about 20 years with Shell, firstly in India for about 8 years, where I initiated Shell's liquefied natural gas business in India. We built an LNG import terminal back in 2004, and then I worked internationally with Shell for another 11 years. I came to Japan to work for a Japanese international oil and gas company, actually, of which the major shareholder is METI, Japan Petroleum Exploration Company, JAPEX. And now I'm with MOL. What I realized is Japan actually, as the previous speakers have so well explained, had a lot of faith in hydrogen for a long time. And I think this is really a remarkable commitment, which is now places Japan quite well to take advantage of the growing hydrogen economy, which at last, after many decades, seems to be possible. In between, while I was with JAPEX in 2018-19, when hydrogen was not really so talked about, started a small company of my own to promote green hydrogen development in India. Now that I'm on the board of Shosen Mitsui, I have divested that company. I no longer run that company. But Shosen Mitsui itself is very keen on green hydrogen development in India. So today I will talk a little about why, from an industry perspective, we are interested in green hydrogen in India, very specifically. We are, of course, a shipping company. I think outside China, we are the world's biggest shipping company. We operate about somewhere between 800 to 900 vessels of all types all over the world. And our fuel bill, we spend more than $1 billion per year simply on the procurement of fuel. And today it is all hydrocarbon fuel. And we are under a lot of pressure to decarbonize because we are one of the hard to abate sectors. So we have taken a pragmatic approach to decarbonization. Things like hydrogen and ammonia and methanol may become available in the future. A lot depends upon the cost of these fuels and the global availability. But today we feel LNG is a fuel that offers us a rapid opportunity to decarbonize to some extent, because LNG emissions are about 25% lower than compared to fuel oil. So we are going for this approach to begin with, but we are also preparing as a company to utilize clean hydrogen derivatives like ammonia to burn in the engine room of the ship when it becomes available. And this is not too difficult technologically speaking. There are some safety issues, but we are progressing on the technology, and we feel that if the clean ammonia is available, maybe by 2027 or 28, we can deploy the first ocean-going vessel to utilize clean ammonia as a marine fuel. Now, why India? First of all, we regard India as a major potential source of ammonia production for export. For the reasons which were explained very well by the previous speakers, there are a number of ammonia projects in India, and we are interested in transporting this ammonia from India to Japan, but also utilizing it as a marine fuel. We actually are also interested in the in-country production and utilization of hydrogen itself. One of the key points that was mentioned by Adachi-san, he showed the cost profile of hydrogen, which is targeted by METI. So 30 Japanese yen per cubic meter. This is about $3 per kilogram of hydrogen equivalent. And this is a little lower than the cost of gasoline and diesel in Japan today. Cost of gasoline, diesel in Japan today is about, I think, maybe 40 Japanese yen per cubic meter equivalent. So this cost level has been fixed by METI at that point, I think, because it should be competitive compared to the existing transport fuels. If you look at cost of power generation using natural gas, probably you need $1 per kilogram equivalent hydrogen, or 10 Japanese yen per cubic meter. So hydrogen needs to be somewhere in between this price range. Now this is going to be extremely difficult from today's standpoint. I think it is achievable, definitely, and a lot of research has gone into these targets which the Japanese government has fixed. But as Hashimoto-san showed in his presentation, the costs of hydrogen production, whether it is blue or green, are rather high. And if I'm not mistaken, Hashimoto-san's presentation showed hydrogen production cost at the point of production. Now, typically from an electrolyzer, you get hydrogen at those cost levels, depending on the cost of electricity. you have to then either, if you want to export the hydrogen to Japan, you either convert to liquid hydrogen or you convert to ammonia. Then you have to ship that. If it is liquid hydrogen, you have to cool it to minus 253 degrees Celsius, which is a lot of energy used in cooling. Then there is the transportation cost. And after receiving it in the country, you regasify it. If it is ammonia, it has to be cracked, reconverted into hydrogen, and then it can be used. In case of power generation, it can be fired directly into a coal-fired steel plant, which is what companies like JERA are intending to do. But the point is there is a very long value chain, a supply chain. So the end cost of hydrogen delivered in the country is extremely high. And we think that subsidy can go to some extent, but it cannot really be sustainable in the very long term. So getting the cost down is absolutely critical. And as Hashimoto-san rightly said, the good cycle, that is really the key point. In MOL, we feel that India offers probably one of the best opportunities for achieving this cost reduction soon as possible. And why do we believe that? Is because, first of all, as was pointed out, renewable power cost in India is extremely low. In fact, compared to the most competitive Japanese solar power plant, in India, solar power can be produced at maybe 20% of that cost. So first of all, very low renewable power cost. And this has been demonstrated over a number of projects. There are many, many gigawatts of production going on. Secondly, the scale is available. Indian power demand and energy demand is growing very rapidly. The total power system size of Japan is about 300 gigawatts. India is adding that capacity every 5 to 6 years. So it's adding the equivalent of the entire Japanese power grid every 5 to 6 years. And at the moment, I think 70–75% of that capacity is coming from renewables. So the scale of growth of demand is fantastic. So you have the two most important things. You have the already low-cost renewable power, and you have the scale, which is necessary to bring the hydrogen cost down. Where we need to focus is the cost of electrolyzers, but also the cost of other elements of the supply chain. So in India, you can produce the hydrogen and utilize it locally. So you can eliminate all this expensive cost of processing and transportation. So this is one reason why we should look at India as Japanese industry. Of course, another factor which is outside the domain of energy is the labor availability. A lot of Japanese industry is facing the challenge of lack of availability of labor. And my suggestion has always been to look at locating manufacturing industry to countries like India, where you have these two benefits: lower energy cost and availability of labor. Some amount of upskilling, training is required, but there is a young, generally well-qualified labor base. So the point is not just about reducing carbon intensity, it's also about maintaining the competitiveness of Japanese manufacturing industry. And there are a number of initiatives between the Japanese government and the Indian government. There are Japanese-centered industrial zones in India where a lot of our customers from Mitsui OSK are already investing. And this is an area where I feel there is a first opportunity is to invest in green hydrogen production for local use in India. From the shareholder point of view, this delivers decarbonization for Japanese investment. And this is an important point. And secondly, it also sustains the future of Japanese manufacturing industry by giving you access to these low-cost resources. MOL is operating in India as an Indian company. We have been there for many, many decades. I have about 800 staff working in India, a combination of mostly Indian staff, but also a large number of Japanese expatriates. We have been recruiting seafarers and training them in India for the last 25 years. More than half of the officers on our fleet globally are Indians. So we do not require any Indian partner as a main partner. We do partnerships in India selectively, but we are able to operate in India as an Indian company. And our board is very comfortable with the idea of investing in India. So with this in mind, we have started now a specific green hydrogen company, MOL Green Hydrogen India,
which is soon to be incorporated. Our board has approved this, and we will establish this company in India. We are already working on 5 or 6 projects. Initially pilot projects, somewhere between 4 to 5 megawatt scale and 150 to 200 megawatt scale, which we would like to invest in through this company. And the benefit there is that we are already connected to a number of Indian industrial users. We have relationships with the top Indian companies in a number of sectors, whether it is power generation, oil companies, or steel makers. And we feel this is something which we can leverage to try and also develop an energy business, because ultimately the clean hydrogen that we can produce has to go into sectors like industry, into logistics, and all of these sectors need to be decarbonized so that we can deliver ultimately the decarbonization goals of our clients. So I just wanted to share this bit of perspective with you. I'm not sure if there is going to be an opportunity for questions, but perhaps over maybe some tea afterwards, it would be, I would be very happy to take any questions or engage in discussion with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With this, we will conclude today's seminar. Thank you so much for your participation today. It was indeed a pleasure to have you all here. We'll have a networking session with refreshments at the foyer just outside this venue. You may please proceed to the foyer. Thank you so much.